Hello, I hope you are well. Since our class is technically ceramics and sculpture, I really wanted to get to something that was three-dimensional. So we're gonna try this and see how it goes. Our fourth project is recycled sculptures. It's robots, castles, faces, characters. Oh my, this is our fourth project. We will have a total of 5 projects. So we're getting really near the end, which is great. But this is our fourth, and I'm gonna tell you about it today. What are recycled materials? Anything that's going to be thrown away as trash. It could maybe be in your recycle bin if you have one. Look around your house for empty food containers, boxes, lids, bottles, cans, anything you can find. Then you also might find different like trinkets like wood or surplus plastic or cupcake holders or pipe cleaners or pom-poms. All depends on your house and what you've kind of got around there. This was a plastic container, and I'll show you, I cut it apart earlier today. This was Gatorade. One of my daughters loves Gatorade. Here's the lids that I was playing around with. Could I do something with? I didn't end up. I'll show you that later. Bottle tops. Ooh, so little. Paper towel rolls. I've been saving a bunch. And then like I showed in the picture, I have a random boxes that I've been saving, all different sizes. A few other things I grabbed was yarn. I found some yarn. I found pipe cleaner I was playing around with. So those would be those extra things that possibly you might have around your house. What is 3D mean? 3D is a dimensional. It has that height, that width, and that depth. We talked a lot about this in the fall when we were in the classroom together. It's not just a piece of paper that's flat. It's something that has that depth, that has 3 dimensions. So here's some robot examples. Honestly, this is really fun. It took me maybe an hour and a half. Now I already had kind of the supplies collected. So that might be kind of the next couple days getting supplies, and then it won't take super long. I could have went on and on, but I had to be done for today. So you can see these are all different. Like there's an egg cart, there's random little M&M containers, an old tape thing on that one. Boxes cut apart. If, like this last one, if you need to lay it flat, you just cannot get it to stand up. Both of these are laid flat. You could also do that. It would reduce in having to attach stuff. I would be open to that. I like attaching because I think it challenges you guys and it's something to do. These are 3 totally different ones, a variety of boxes and a variety of stuff attached to them. These are wood. Again, you can see the one on the left is painted. You don't have to paint it. If you want to, you can. So it looks a little bit more uniformed, which is kind of nice. And again, 3 more that are completely different. Castles. So I wanted to kind of give you a few choices. So castles would happen, again, you could do boxes or you could do paper towel rolls. So I was playing around with, I cut my paper towel roll, so it has these little wedges. And then I started making a castle, but didn't get further enough. So I was kind of placing these wedges into each other, and I would build from there. I would have kind of like a Lego, but a little bit different. So I would have built, and I would have kept working through this so I could kind of continue to build castles. Now you can build castles however you want. It just has to be 3-dimensional. I saw these ones on jugs. Sorry, it's a really bad photo, but that were made out of jugs, and I thought that was really cool. I don't have a jug with me, so I couldn't begin there, but if I would have had a jug, I think that would have been a really fun way to make a castle. Totally different ones. Again, the one on the right is painted. You don't have to paint it. I want you to have fun with this, and I know you're home and it's school and it's hard to get motivated, but I think the building piece is where once you sit down, I think you'll enjoy it. If you have cool papers and you have flags, you have all that, go for it. Like have fun. These are all totally different. And then there's little people that I thought that last one was really fun, little people on that one. So more versions of castles. Then I found these faces and these characters, and they just looked really, really fun. So I thought, you know, if you just kind of want to end up with some character, I'm okay with that, or some faces. These are made out of bottles, so jugs, different ones. They're kind of all different jugs, and then some details done with gluing and some additional materials, maybe markers, just to get some of the details, or permanent markers. That's a real plant, but not necessary at all. These were all different characters made with like random stuff, just totally random stuff. So if you have random trash and you want to make characters, I think that would be great, as long as everybody in the household is okay with it. You're not destroying somebody's stuff, would be a bad thing. So again, more jugs. Then this one on the right is just done with an egg cart. So if the simplest that you could do is be with an egg cart, I thought those faces were really fun to participate, and you would still get that three-dimensional piece. These are egg carton facial features, so kind of showing you how to cut and take apart the egg carton to make the face, which I thought would be a super fun option. And I didn't do it yet, but I hope to do it. So ways to attach cardboard without glue or tape. This can be a little bit difficult. If you don't have tape or you don't have glue, it's totally fine. But if you do, use them. So I want to show you a few of these ways that you could do this. I'm going to hopefully make myself a little bit bigger here so you can see me a little bit better. Hello. Okay. So the first one that we'll talk about is actually cutting to make the little edges here, which would be called a flange. And so this part you can kind of put down, and and I did that on mine a couple different times. Really easy, just cutting, boom, 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 and then you have your little flange. Super easy. The next one that we're going to talk about is an L brace. So I have two pieces that I cut, and then I attached duct tape. I was having a hard time with this. Is really cheap tape, and it was not sticking. And so this is like packing tape. I just couldn't get it to stick. So don't be surprised if you have some difficulties along the way, like I did. So don't be surprised. And so this would be an L brace if you would like to, kind of sculpt that way. One of the really easiest ways that I will always love, I'll find it. I don't know. I put it down. I tried to be organized here, you guys. This is me at my teaching spot. This one is, this one, you would take your piece. So I have a piece here. This was some crackers from Aldi's. And then I cut it to be a tab. So I cut this part. So this could be laid down and this could be laid down. And so then I would have kind of a building part that I could start building from. So this would be the tab piece that possibly you'd want to do something with. I did have some toothpicks around my house. And so I was playing around with, this part is where you literally are trying to connect them with poking, inserting. So I just poked this into this, and I was playing around with the actual toothpicks and working with that to see, that would be really cool to build that way. I had a hole punch, and so I was working through, I could only punch one side at a time. And then from there, I could go ahead and actually thread them together or sew them together or stitch them together. So I could take, and I have some yarn, and you could stitch these a million different ways. I thought this would be like a cool shirt. I thought that would be really fun. Still stitching. I don't have a needle or anything, and you might not have any of this stuff. So, and it's okay. Whatever you have, you're gonna make with. That's kind of the fun part of this. So here is vanilla wafers that are stitched together, a box of vanilla wafers that are stitched together, but that would be a great way. This I did with, this I kind of took, again, I did the same hole punching, but I tried to attach them or sew them together, and this was with a pipe cleaner. For some reason, I can't find the one that I'm looking for, so I'm gonna just remake it here. The easiest one is to build notches. So, and there's a lot of different ways. So I'm just cutting my cracker box. And you could build a whole thing. You could build a whole robot or a face out of this if you wanted to. So I've got my 2 pieces that I'm cutting, and then I'm gonna cut little notches in them. So I'm just gonna cut here, and I can have them be little, kind of a little bit open. So I cut like this tiny little triangle. Then I'm gonna take my next one and cut my tiny little triangle. Okay, right? And then I can attach them. Oh, sorry, I don't know what I'm thinking. I can attach them where I'm opposite. So this cuts on this and this cuts on this. And then I could build into making a little kind of, I could add to this. I could keep doing notches and notches and cutting cardboard, and that would require no glue, no tape. And somehow I could come up with something cool. It could be a castle, it could be a face, it could be a robot. So I hope that gives you a few ideas. I didn't have like brass fascinators. I don't have a lot of the stuff either, but I kind of showed you what I do have, and that's what I worked with. So, did I go back? Okay, here I am. This is on the PowerPoint. So this is kind of exactly what I just walked through, different ways to attach cardboard. So if you're like, oh, I don't know what to do, these are some more ways. I didn't show you all the ways, and I don't expect that you do all these. You might not need to do any of this, and that's okay. But you might need to do a little bit of moving around these pieces and trying to build with them. So what does our project consist of? What do we need to actually, what are you graded on? Pick a robot, castle, or face to construct out of found materials. Must be at least 12 inches in one direction. So you know a ruler is 12 inches. So it has to be 12 inches, one way. High, wide, however you want. So the castle could be wide or it could be high. It's totally fine. Must be 3-dimensional. I really am gonna push this, that it can't just be done on a piece of paper. I think we've kind of worked through that, and we've done some of that while we're not at home, but I think we can move past this. And again, if you don't have glue or tape, do some of the attachments I showed you. And so make it simple on yourself. Some optional things, like you're just digging this and you're bored, is that you could paint or color it. And then you could also add different things like beads or pom-poms, or like I had pipe cleaners. If I would have dug a little bit more in my art supplies, I would have found more, but I didn't keep digging. This will be due May 18th. So about exactly 10 days from when you see this, which I think is a decent amount of time. The check-ins are going to be pretty simple, probably looking at found artists. So this is kind of the bulk of what you're going to be doing for the next 10 days of class. Here's where I grabbed all this stuff to get started. I did end up using, which was really helpful, I had a tiny little glue gun, and I only had 2 tiny little glue sticks left, and I ended up using that, but not for everything because I didn't really have a lot of glue, so I worked with that. But this is kind of stuff I pulled, and then I used that. On the left, you can see this is what I had all this random stuff started, and this is my kitchen floor. I had no other place to work today. So this was my kitchen floor, and this is what I had going on. Now I probably have more stuff that I've collected because I've been collecting this for a little bit. You could probably go dig through your garbage and find a lot more, or just save stuff for the next 5 days and then build for a few days. When I was done, this was kind of what my floor looked like. I was randomly cutting, didn't like it, like this, didn't like this. And here's what I ended up with. So she's actually 28 inches tall, and her name is Franny, and she's right here. So I don't know if I can show you her through the camera. Isn't she a doll face? Okay, so here is her little dress. I felt like once I got going, I just wanted to add like accessories to her. That must speak something about me, but I just wanted to like make her have clothes and make her have a bracelet, and like I wanted her to have hair. Like that's where I found a lot of fun with. And yeah, so this is what I ended up with. And again, that took me about, I'm sorry, that's not a great shot, but she's pretty tall. 20 inches tall is pretty tall. I kind of only used 2 boxes, and I wanted her to be brown. And so I flipped my boxes the other way. I could have just kept that this was a Cheez-Its box and a noodles box. Can you see what we eat a lot of around our house? Noodles and Cheez-Its. That's my daughter. So anyway, this is Franny, and this is what I ended up with. So here's my little robot. This is project number 4, and this is due May 14th. You guys don't wait till the last minute and then you're scrambling. This is the second to the last project, so we're really near the end. Have fun. I know that this distance learning isn't made for everybody, but make it the best and make it what you can. And I hope, you know, if you have siblings around the house, have them help you. If a parent wants to help you, great. Like, go for it. I invited my daughters. They didn't want to help me today. They were busy. They had other schoolwork to do, but that's okay. Anyways, I miss you guys.